And we call that a tough time because in TVP, he's 85%, TVT, 72%. And again, let us remind you guys, these are against some of the best of the absolute best. So Tasia is that guy to beat. It's really cool that Jaedong called him out. It makes it fun. It makes it interesting for reasons other than just the game itself. But it's still Jaedong calling him out because Tasia's the guy people have to call out.
Yeah, you see that grin? You see that nod? Jaedong is ready. He is ready to take on Tasia. This is our first semifinal. After 96 players, we're down to just 4. And these are the first 2. And we will find out a grand finalist in a couple of moments' time. We, of course, will have this best of 3 coming to you live. I know this is going to be a good series. 2-0 for Jaedong or 2-1? Because I know you're going to say Jaedong's going to win.
2-1. It'll be a 2-1. It's going to be a nail-biter.
All right, well, the game has loaded. And this is going to be a good one. So sit tight, buckle up, and let's ride this roller coaster together. Up here, to the top left, is the red Terran player. Playing for Team Liquid, please make some noise for Tasia! A 3-time DreamHack champion looking for his 4th title. If he does that today. And then down here as the blue Zerg player. Apparently, it seems to be the only one that can stop Tasia from that happening. Playing for Team Evil Geniuses as the blue Zerg, it's Jaedong!
Jaedong told me before this game got started that thankfully with the power of Monster and HyperX and Need for Seed, he's able to sit there and do all that it takes to beat Tasia.
And Tasia told me that the ISO monitor inside that booth is the key to victory because he won't miss any run-bys. He won't miss any Mulisks. He will know where all his drops are at all times. I don't know who's going to win.
And if you think about it, it's equal territory. They're both using Razer peripherals, so there's no absolute advantage there either. I mean, this is so much love bouncing between the two of them. Actually, with starting locations here, Jaedong gets a bit of an edge.
Yes, I agree.
We saw this against Bunny. Bunny played his heart out. This was the game number 3 map, but this was the map 2 that I feel like Jaedong decisively won that series. There was moments there where Bunny was playing really well, but Jaedong was pretty much ahead the entire time. Now, Tasia, of course, is a different beast altogether. Bunny played great. Tasia doesn't know what it's not like to play amazing. So Jaedong's going to need everything that he did to do that here.
All right, well, we will need to follow this game very closely to find out the edges that Jaedong can take to try to tackle the beast that is Tasia. And with a drone scout here, he eliminates any early proxy barracks or anything cheeky that Tasia could do. But on the other side of things, he went for a hatchery first. He's gone for a gas before the spawning pool.
Sees a Marine here. Now, we do see a Reaper being made behind this Marine, but the one Marine, then Reaper, that's pretty unusual.
Yeah, I think it was a 13 gas. I wasn't exactly following this as I was kind of walking around the stage, shouting people's names and talking about sponsors. But
the passion's real. It's just coming off of you.
The passion is real. It's unbelievable. You know, one person lost his passion, another gained the...
That's the good way to look at it. There's more passion for the rest of us.
Everybody gains, apart from one.
So it'll be CC here. Otherwise, it's normal. And the one Marine, guys, is not a huge deal. It's not like that deviation, we're like, oh, God, everything's different. It's just kind of cool. It can hunt Overlords if they are out in the open. But the drone did die to the Marine, so Jaedong should be careful. The Reaper's going to make its way across the map and see a fairly normal opening from Jaedong. Jaedong with the speed following this up. This is all par for the course so far.
He's still mining. Actually, no, he's still mining with just one.
Kinda.
Yes, kinda mining, but not properly mining.
He's prairie dogging it.
Let's talk about one of the most interesting points of this matchup, and at least for me, the difference between the races.
Okay.
Hellbats. Let's talk about Hellbats. Do you think that Tasia's going to use Hellbats as effectively as his teammate Bunny did earlier against Jaedong?
Well, my answer is going to be cheap in here with that second gas. It's either Hellbats or it's going to be Banshees, and I would opt for Hellbats here. So the answer is yes, Apollo.
Okay, right. Well, that's going to be important for Jaedong to try to read into. Obviously, reading into it and seeing it will help him build the correct response. Because right now, in these positions, the one weakness for Zerg, the advantage is being far away from the Terran player means it's harder for Terran to get to you. But Zerg can't really scout you properly. And as we see, Barracks with a reactor. Hellions being made from the first reactor. We are going to see Hellbats. The Armory is going to enter this game shortly. Yeah. Jaedong, with only Zergling speed, No Baneling Nest yet, no Roach Warren yet, no third base either. Doesn't right now have the tools.
Not right now, but it's
Right.
of course not time for that just yet. I feel like Jaedong should be kind of gaining a sense of this. Usually the Hellions would be across the map. The Reaper would be a little bit more aggressive. And it's all been very passive so far. Jaedong also knows that this is very strong in the meta. He saw this against Bunny, a teammate of Tasia earlier on. And speaking to that game, I feel like the way Jaedong handled it was far and away better than how he lost to it, even just 2 games prior to that match. Or that game, excuse me. So, as long as Jaedong is sniffing this out, right now seeing 4 Hellions playing again, very defensive, I have to believe he knows this is coming.
Well, looking at this now, Jaedong's actually going for Overlord speed here. By the way, hold that thought. The Reaper does get denied. Overlord speed. So he's looking to get information, but he doesn't quite know what's happening yet. We have 3 Marines and a Medivac and Hellions. This is moving out faster than the regular Hellbat timing, by the way. It's like a minute earlier. Regular Hellbat timing hits about 8:30. No.
There's not an armory, and usually you'd start it by now because he is going to get across that map, and he won't be able to transform. So I think we're actually looking at the... is this...
It's a different and faster push here. It's
There's the armory. Okay, it's a little bit... Well, it's interesting. It's a little bit poorly timed, to be brutally honest with you. The Hellions are going to get dropped off. It's spotted by Jaedong, so he should move in to encounter that. And with the Hellions, there's the potential for them to do a nice work at the middle line, but it looks like Jaedong's moving in to intercept.
He is moving. He's got the Queen there. A couple of drones get roasted straight away. 2 go down. Jaedong comes in with his Lings. He has a run around and does get one of the Hellions.
I don't like this from Tasia. That could have been a potential Hellbat. The Medivac itself has already taken damage. So all the tools that he needs to make this super successful did nothing and showed itself and then took some damage.
Well, it's not over yet. He's got another attempt, and he's got these units to turn into Hellbats. Lings get roasted straight away here. The armory's just about to finish up, and Overlord is on top of this army. He's going to see that these units are there, and he sees the transformation. So here we go. The Hellbats that have been causing headaches to Zerg players. How is he going to hold this? How is he going to do it? There is no Roach Warren, there's no Baneling Nest, it's only Lings, and we know that Zerglings are not going to be that good against this. Queens are going to come in, 4 of them, 5.
And he moves the Spore Caller up further forward. He wants to start chipping away at the health.
1 Queen's dead.
Those Medivacs, but there's so much here. He does not have the Roach Warren. This is going to be an extremely tough hold. The Medivacs are still fairly healthy. Here comes a lot of the Zerglings trying to get a surround here, but again, the Medivacs make that damage absolutely minimal, and Tasia is just piling through whatever Jaedong throws at this.
Tasia is walking over this. Jaedong just doesn't have an answer here. He's only got Zerglings. He's trying to build more and more and more, but this is going to be very difficult. He's already losing a lot. His drone count is low. He's losing Queens left and right, and these Lings are getting absolutely roasted. Great micro again by Tasia, picking up the low health ones, putting them at the back, and he's even going to drop on top of this. Tasia is taking Jaedong for a walk in the park at the moment.
Yeah, for the moment, but just mineral damage has been done so far. No economic damage, and it's just 1 Medivac left here. So Tasia is in a strong position, don't get me wrong, but, well, no, there's no but here. All the Zerglings try to swing in there, and they get torched absolutely terribly. And now behind that hatchery, this is a really hard position. You need Queens, you need range to whittle this down, and Jaedong lost all of it outside the base.
And it doesn't look like Jaedong is able to keep up with Tasia here, just missing crucial units here. Drones come to the third, and he does try to run them away. He's not going to give up this easily, though. We know how much it means for Jaedong to try to get this victory. But right now, Tasia's just looking at extending his win record to 13-0 in this tournament. The Hellbats don't stop. There's double upgrades on the way. It's not enough. GG. And Tasia takes a very, very easy game from Jaedong. And if Jaedong wants hopes of stopping this guy, he has got to ramp it up.
He really does, Apollo. I am pretty disappointed with that. The Overlord speed is strange. It's not really it doesn't help with what he's seeing. We saw his response to Bunny's take on this build, and it was for faster Roaches. Banelings are okay, but they're still not as good as Roaches, and he went with the 1-1 melee upgrades, which is what he does in a normal ZVT. So it stands to logic that basically Jaedong didn't see this coming, which is very weird to me because everything about this was telling him he should expect Hellbats.
And as much as Tasia's happy here, the only emotion I would be feeling from Jaedong is, I guess, a little bit of disappointment, but also anger. I suppose there's 2 there. As looking at him down in the booth, he's just like, all right, staring at the screen. That's not the good start. That is not the ideal start he wanted, considering he's improved against Terrans over the last week to today, where he's been getting better against these Hellbot builds, but that was basically 10 steps forward, 100 back, and he's worse than he was before. And unfortunately, This just got a crap ton harder.
It got a crap ton harder, and it's a missed opportunity, too. This map is as good as it gets for a Zerg and ZVT. I mean, this timing attack wasn't affected as much as we could see, but it should have been expected. If that's deflected, the rest of the game is very much so, at least on paper, in Jaedong's favor, as long as he doesn't take huge damage. So for him to mishandle this, misread it by all rights, I feel like this is also a missed opportunity.
Do you think that he misread it because of the 3 Marines and the Hellion drop at the first? Is that something that threw him off? He had it on Spore Crawlers at the time. He didn't add on the correct response at that point. Was he thinking that Tasia is messing around in mind games and, Jaedong shot himself in the foot?
Well, we know that this attack hit a little bit faster than the ones we've seen in the past. A lot of times it is Hellions and Reapers out harassing that then transform into Hellbats. But this time around, he only went 1 Reaper. He made 3 Marines because he had a barracks doing nothing else otherwise. But then it was just straight Hellions, straight medevac, push out, and immediately transform. He did that 1 4 Hellion drop-off that did almost nothing, but it was still quicker than I think Jaedong expected.
All right, well, we are ready for map number 2 now. Let's find out which way this story is going to end. Up here, to the top right of merry-go-round as the red Terran player, this guy seems unstoppable. His name is Liquid Tasia. Looking for a back-to-back StarCraft tournament victory. Home Story Cup last weekend, DreamHack this weekend. This guy is just absolutely amazing, but one player that stands in his way as the blue Zerg player down here at the south position on this map, playing for Team Evil Geniuses, it's Jaedong!
They say a lot of animals become more dangerous when they're backed into a corner, and Jaedong is certainly that. He has lost the first game of a few of these series, most notably Scarlet, in the round of 32, I want to say. Somewhere in there. 16? No, it was round of 16, where he lost to Scarlet in the first game. And in these short best-of-3 series, that means you only have 1 more game to go before you're absolutely eliminated from DreamHack. And all that work, all that marathon that you put into this, it's not for naught. He's got some WCS points, and I think he's got some money, actually. But he's got eyes on higher prizes. He's been calling out Tasia for a week now. He's been looking at him in this tournament. He's been asking for this. He looked past Mana and was able to make good on that. But I'll tell you what, game number 1, that's going to leave a gross, sick feeling in his mouth. That is not what Jaedong wants to show his fans. So look to game number 2 and hopefully game number 3 to see what he is capable of.
Well, throughout this tournament this weekend, in the players that Jaedong has gone up against, he's lost map number 1 multiple times before.
Yeah.
He's dug deep and has even been losing map number 2 to turn it around to win and then win game number 3. We need to see that adaptation from him. Otherwise, Jaedong is another victim that Tasia has crushed on his way to a perfect tournament. Hasn't dropped a single map yet.
13 games in a row, and so much respect for Tasia's play. He's an absolutely magnificent Terran player, and you got to like his position in this series as well. Sure, Jaedong's going for all the intimidation. This is his worst matchup. We saw the historical stats between the two of them. Jaedong favored heavily there as well, but winning that game number 1 and as convincingly as he did, wow, that's a huge message to send. And now it's his turn to take risks or play overly safe. He is the one that can dictate how this goes. I mean, we always talk about taking risks, but Tasia's actually the kind of player that might take 0 risks or even less risks, but then catch Jaedong trying to do that very thing. And that's an amazing place to be if you're Tasia.
All right, well, the 2 opening strategies, or should I say build orders, regular Reaper expansion, followed by a reactor, and then shortly a factory. A couple of Marines may pop out first, then the factory switch up, whereas Jaedong went hatchery first, spawning pool, and then the gas taken just a little bit afterwards. And Zergling speed is going to be on its way now, as the Reaper looking for a bit of damage, but so far, good micro from Jaedong. No drones dead, no Lings dead yet.
Yeah, excellent micro by both players, whittling down the health of those units. The drone could die. It does die. That's not expected. That doesn't usually happen. Not the biggest of deals, but certainly a very nice pickup for Tasia here. That kind of thing can rattle the cage of a player.
Right.
See if Jaedong maybe gets a little bit more distraught. There's already a lot of anxiety. We talked about the short series and playing on stage in front of the beautiful audience of Young Shiping, but also the large audience at home. That kind of stuff can get to you.
All right, well, at least on this map for Jaedong, one good thing we can look at is that he has Overlords in decent positions and they're there earlier, which means he can scout easily without having to get Overlord speed. A Marine's going to come to try and push this back.
Yeah.
The Overlord didn't actually go in, and unfortunately for Jaedong, he actually should have pushed that in further, but He does retreat back. Second gas down.
Yeah.
Starport down, but a massive switch up from Tajan. I do like this a lot. It is a starport, yes, but it is a tech lab, not a reactor. And he's going over to Hellion Banshee, not for what we're expecting for a lot of time here to be Hellbats.
Yeah, Hellion Banshee's very strong, especially if you can catch the player without a lair. Of course, that gives you the option to have a mobile cloaked unit in the Banshee. One thing I like in potential here is that Jaedong has opted to go for Spore Crawlers, even against just Hellbats. So if he sniffs out anything other than standard play, the options for a Terran player are quite minimal after that, typically speaking. It's usually either Hellbat, like we saw in Game Number 1, or Cloaked Banshee, which is something that's less common, but still common enough that Jaedong should not be caught off guard.
Tasia making a simple switch like this, I know he shouldn't be caught off guard, but at the moment, he's playing the way towards a Hellbat push. He's got the Roach Warren down. He hasn't got Spores. He hasn't got the layer down. One thing to note, though, Jaedong previously, when fighting against Hellbats, had Spore Crawlers in the mineral line, so that can work against the Banshees as well. But, as we can see, Cloak is on its way. Banshee going to be coming over soon. No layer, no Overseer, no detection, no additional Lings, no additional Queens to help against the Hellions either. So he's got to be very careful here. Otherwise, this could be as easy as just a quick 10-minute 2-0.
Yeah, there's a couple of Roaches popping out now, but this Banshee even sneaks past the vision of the Overlord, so it's not spotted, I don't believe. Spore Crawlers still not up.
Baneling Nest coming in here. It's a big 2-base push coming out from him. So Roach Baneling, but with consistent Banshee production.
Well, this could be scary for Tasia, too. I mean, you have to say this. The Banshee's actually cut in his ability to make the things you need to hold off that timing attack like tanks. So this does work both ways, but the Banshee's going to do a lot of damage because as it stands right now, it's spotted. There it is. Hitting Roaches, which is not its primary target, but there are no Spore Crawlers. And right now, Jaedong knows he's facing Cloak Banshees.
There is no detection, only just now coming in. This Roach Baneling attack, I'm not too sure if I have confidence in it. I mean, one
something
Banshee
to think
do
about,
damage.
though, because Jaedong has queued up aggression, the Banshee's made to chip away at the defenses, but it's never going to be about defense. This is about offense. So Tasia's actually going to need these Banshees defensively, if anything. If he goes to the hatchery, he's never going to pick it off with Banshees alone.
All right, well, Lings. Oh, good find by Tasia. Gets a lot of these Lings already. The Banelings are getting morphed, and this is it. Jaedong really needs to do damage. He's building nothing but units. Tasia goes home. The depot is raised. The Banshee's doing damage here. He's going to pull some SCVs to repair. Another Queen goes down. And is this attack really going to work? The supply depots go down, and Jaedong does break in. But how much damage is he going to do? There's 3 command centers. He can lose SCVs
pushing back the Hellions, though. He's trying to thin out the amount of things that can respond to these Banelings. They actually get up against the bunker, but they just pop the bunker. They don't affect the economy at all, and now it's Roaches in there, sure. But with 3 Banshees here and the wall resealed, Tasia has held magnificently. Jaedong's in a world of pain.
Yeah, Jaedong's in so much trouble right now, down to 35 drones. And as much as he wanted to play Tasia, and as much as he wants to go to the final, Tasia's another class right now. He's ahead in supply. He's going to be ahead in upgrade soon when the engineering bay's on the way. He's got Stim down. These Banshees can go back and do more damage, and that assault is stopped. If Jaedong, he needs to make a world-class recovery.
He does, and we've seen it before, so we know that it's possible, but it's an uphill battle, and against Tasia, that task becomes all that much, perhaps more insurmountable. So he's got some Zerglings kind of sharking around it here, poking at the wall. He does not see a lot of units behind that. He has seen the 3rd CC. What we can tell as casters and observers is that there are also double engineering bays, so Tasia's going to be dormant for now. But that's only for a little while. He's going to start muscling up and really growing the quality of his units as well with the double engineering bay.
Wow, the big problem here is to give a player on Tasia's level an advantage like this. He won't let go of it. He won't make mistakes.
He's making one right now, though, to be honest with you. Taking this 3rd, I'm not so sure. I mean, he's not going to instantly saturate it or drop all his mules, I don't think. But he can't hold that for right now. It's very interesting that he went to do that. I think that is a mistake.
The big problem here is these units coming down the ramp. He hasn't spotted these Lings and Banelings. This is a nice move here from Jaedong. Will it be good enough? Will it be good enough? He's going to spot these units. They're all medivacs. Banelings do burrow, and he's going to micro around these Banelings, and they get shut down immediately. And Jaedong digs himself a deeper grave here as he throws Lings and Banelings in. He's got nothing to stop this hatchery from being blown up right now. He's going to have to pull Queens, maybe readjust the Spore Crawler position because he can't see it right now.
And the hatchery is not going to get focused down, so it looks like the Banshees will try to retreat, but even then, really nice move from Tasia. Gets a Queen for himself. Does lose a Banshee, sure, but as the game goes on, the Banshees aren't the most important thing. What's the big story here for me is that harassed by Jaedong ended up flopping back in his face, as you pointed out. I mean, he did very little to no damage, and all of a sudden, Taja's here.
I actually don't think he can stop this push.
It's going to be hard.
7 Banelings get morphed in. Good target fire from the Banshees to assist the Marines. As long as they go down, the units with 1-1 about to finish up, Combat Shield's about to finish up. Lings aren't going to be good enough, I'm sorry. These Banelings have to connect. Tasia, all he needs to do is to stop these Banelings, which he doesn't do. Does pick up, but that hatchery's been targeted down, and Jaedong does survive for now.
Decent defense there. The hatchery was the main target there from
he gets the hatchery.
Oh, he does get in the background with a single Banshee. A nice pickup here. He's going to move forward. The Baneling's getting microed against. Jaedong falling apart at the wheels. He's down 30, going on 40 supply. And Tasia has absolutely dominated this. He's been all over him from the very beginning. GG is called. And Tasia says, back to the bullpen with you. You're not ready to call me out yet.
Tasia just he can't be stopped. 14-0 in this tournament. He pushes Jaedong aside like nothing. And Liquid Tasia is on the hot seat, on the hot highway to another final here at DreamHack. He is looking at 4 titles. Who the hell can stop him?
Tasia's on his way to the grand final, and he knows he's facing a Protoss, his best matchup. Apollo, I don't think anybody